What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, what is moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 6.1%, 1030 the high, 981 the low, and fairly low volume. So 4.1 million shares being traded. So today the market is very much freaked out over several things. One is a potential attack this weekend, because I think we're all starting to learn when Trump likes to do these types of attacks and kind of speeches and so forth. It is Friday evening, and so potentially the market is very worried that the state is going to attack Iran. In addition to that, a lot of big tech names have been putting out their earnings and really flopping, so that's causing a little bit of concern. Plus, we did get this right here, so data early this morning, PPI month over month came in at 0.5, forecast of 0.3, none of which is good. And so we kind of want the opposite to happen in order to justify rate cuts. So this PPI coming in hotter isn't helping anyone, unfortunately. Aside from all of that fun stuff, nothing really coming out from Lucid either. No press releases, no SEC filings, still no interviews, no new analyst ratings. So it looks like all the ratings have already come out. Maybe any stragglers might be over the weekend posted, so that'll impact next week. But as far as today, Lucid is just merely at the mercy of the broader market. Shorts surprisingly aren't doing that much, so they're returning about 49,000 shares. 33.3% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 44.6 million shares overall being shorted. DTC 6.18 days does signal that shorts are still fairly overextended. And right now, cost to borrow is still maintaining roughly around that 75% range. So the last several trading days has been roughly around there. That's an annual rate, mind you, not a daily rate, but still kind of high. Short score is 86.7, so fairly high. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. But from this solid line right here, like, they're not really doing too much. Straight out the gate, they were increasing 210,000. But again, in comparison, that's nothing. Associated to options, 841,000 in calls, 591,000 in puts. 49% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. So at least you're seeing a little bit of optimism for that. Bears, or at least from this, the bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 10 by the end of next week. So between 10 and 1050. So a little bit of optimism is on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 10 to 950. So yeah, tomorrow, or at least going into next week, is going to be a very interesting week. We are only seeing 2 transactions on the secondary market. So it's not just Lucid, on a side note, that's experiencing that. It's across the board. So big money is just saying, hey, you know what? I'll see you next week. I don't want anything to do with anything right now. I'm not buying the dip on anything. So right now we're only seeing 2 transactions, one buy, one sell. Sell for 114, buy for 409. Dark pool, this is pretty much pennies, so it does match with shorts. So shorts do make up for pretty much most of these transactions right here. With it right now at 994, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So it did kind of bounce off of this S1, so 989 is a strong support, and then 1091 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. I'm looking at the 1-day chart on a side note, so these are very strong support and resistance points. Aside from all of that, on the actual chart, it's kind of recovering a little bit, so maybe there's a certain level of optimism that what's happening in the market is just overdone, which in all fairness, there's a lot of stocks that have been absolutely massacred, but at least today it is holding above that 10-day moving average. So as long as they can hold and stay above that 994, then we should see a nice temporary bounce, in my opinion, assuming there is no attack over this weekend, mind you. But it is really, really unfortunate, because today was going to be a very big day for Lucid. It was going to test and hopefully break above that 50-day moving average, and generally that is a extreme big deal. But based on the market position for today, you see a lot more willing sellers, a little bit more willing buyers, roughly around that 960 mark, but that's pretty much it right now. So yeah, Lucid, at no fault of its own, it did lose a lot of its momentum. So it's just a lot of the market needs to figure itself out. Stochastic RSI, because of the recent price action, is at 72. So arguably a little bit overbought. And a lot of stocks are kind of like that, mind you. And nothing really wrong with that, as stocks do kind of correct. You can kind of be overbought for extended periods of time. No new analyst ratings, no articles really coming out about Lucid. A lot of ones talking about CFRA and various other analyst ratings. It's all old information, mind you. So there's nothing really new exactly, and nothing really coming out from Uber or any of other like kind of Lucid's partners. SoundHound did bring them up in their earnings, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, but nothing of any crazy significance. So let me know your general thoughts. This is a very quick video on what is affecting Lucid, some key levels to watch for, and everything else. So hopefully everyone has a good weekend. For those of you that are kind of wanting to see some other EV videos, which ones? Are you curious in Polestar? Do you want more Rivian types of videos? I've done Rivian, Polestar, general ones like top 5 most heavily shorted EVs and various things like that. What other types of videos would you like to see on this channel? I know I've kind of brought that up, but people seem to always just gravitate towards Rivian for whatever reason. So trying to think outside the box as far as that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Despite what's been happening in the broader market, many of my buy signals have been on point. So worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With that said, appreciate all of you watching.